Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of Fettylations. I'm your host, King Fetty. You already know how it is. Um, I just want to say, I'm really, really, really happy to be back in this space, to be able to speak my mind, to be able to have people listening to what I have to say. It really flatters me that I um, have the motivation to be here today. And I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you. So, episode 1 went on to top 50 on the Apple podcast charts, which is just crazy. I didn't expect anything like that. So for episode 2, we need to go back into that top 50 mark. But today's episode is going to be a little different. The last episode was more like a casual thing, a casual conversation between me and the homie. And, we just try to make it fun and as entertaining as possible for everyone that was listening. This one is going to be a little different. This one is going to be more serious and more about the path that we all need to be on. And regardless in what you believe in, we all have a purpose. We were all made for a purpose, and we are all here for a specific purpose. And our purposes vary between everyone, really. So that's why you should never compare yourself to anyone, because your purpose is not the same as my purpose. I obviously am a big Christian, so my purpose is a God-given purpose, and every gift that I have, I use to serve my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I'll never be ashamed of that. But if you believe in someone or something different, then more power to you, my brother, more blessings. And, let's just all make the world a better place, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about improving ourselves and helping others with the gifts that have been bestowed upon us. Now, I want to introduce you guys to someone. He's not here, but I want you guys to be familiar with someone that I'm going to be referring to a lot throughout the Fettylations podcast. His name is Andrew Tate. Most of you boys might know him from TikTok, who's trending. Most of you boys might just know him from personal motivation. And the one thing that really motivates me the most about this nigga is that he's a self-made millionaire. Yeah, I think it's worth 30 M's, and he's 35, which is not bad, could always do better. But it's pretty fucking good. And, one thing that I respect the most about him is the fact that he is indeed self-made. And I'm not talking about daddy giving him a small sum of $1 million to start up a business, because that's not fucking self-made, motherfuckers. He's self-made, came from nothing. At 21 years old, I think his net worth was worth $11,000. So from $11,000 to $30 million is quite an impressive jump, if you ask me. And yeah, basically, I also want to touch on the subject of money. That this guy is very adamant on that money is important. He's very, very vocal, very, very unfiltered. And I might not agree with everything that he says, but he's where I want to be. So who am I to argue with him, really? Huh? But the understanding that I have and the value that I have for money as an individual is that money is a tool for me. It is a tool to retain my freedom, because freedom is priceless. It is a tool to serve my purpose. It is a tool to reach my purpose, because that's what I'm here for. And there's always, as I'm going to touch a lot on guys, because I'm a guy, and obviously it's easier for me to relate to most guys. There's always, as a guy, there's always something that's missing, bro. You could have everything in the world, and you see it with a lot of people who have money, celebrities, anyone. You could have all the money, all the girls, all the fame, all the hype, and it could still feel like there's a big empty hole that's missing. That's why you see celebrity suicides to be so common. It's often nothing to do with the external forces, but internal forces. And not just celebrity suicides, just men's suicidal rates is very, very fucking high. So if you ever overcame that, just want to say I'm super, super proud of you, because there's not a very welcoming space for us as men to be, vulnerable. And, I know you guys, before I started this podcast, a lot of people said that, I'm just basically emulating toxic masculinity, which is not at all what I'm trying to emulate, but that's just the reality we live in, to be honest. Like, there's no point about crying about something that nothing can be done about. But I guess something could be done about it, but we've been trying for years, like trigger warning again, suicidal talks, mental health issues. Like, we remember when Ricky committed suicide. May his soul rest in peace. For a week straight, social media was going crazy about men's mental health. But I knew it was fake, bro. Like, I'm not naive. I've lived long enough to understand that things are not always as how they seem. So we all know after that week finished, bro, everything was just back to normal. There was no mental health awareness. There was nothing like that. And I actually posted something on my Instagram story. Some of you might have seen it. Those of you who follow me. If you don't follow me, go follow me right now at King Fetty with 2 G's, because I'm a double G. Fuck, I'm so cringe. But what was I saying? I said on my story that I said quote unquote, I don't know who needs to hear this, but posting, "Dear black man, you are loved," once a year doesn't make us feel loved as black men at all. And I thought that was a very valid point. I had some niggas screenshot that shit, reposted on their story because they felt the same way that I felt. A lot of people were relating to it as niggas, you know what I mean? But I had a girl that replied to me that was like, listen, honestly, we don't care. And, I respect that, because she was man enough to give me the honest answer, because that's really how it feels. It feels like most people don't care. And, if you're a nigga listening to this right now, or as a gent listening to this right now, it sounds sad and it sounds like low vibrating energy, but bro, listen, you can never, the position that you're in right now, it's highly unlikely that you can change how the world works. There's very few people that can change how the world works. For example, like a nigga like Elon Musk, or Wigger I should say, like Elon Musk, bro, like, who just buys Twitter and now he changes the whole way society works. As I say, money is a very powerful tool that you could use. So there's nothing you can do about it, bro. And that brings me to the main topic about of this podcast today. Is basically about purpose, as I've touched on, and correlating with Stoicism. Now, I haven't read enough about Stoicism, but from what I've seen and heard about it, and what I've implemented about it in my life, has changed my life in a very, very significant way. So, if you don't know about Stoicism, go look it up right now. We all know about the very, very, very successful Roman Empire that was basically one of the greatest empires ever. It lasted for a very long time, and one of their most powerful and most influential and impactful leaders was a man named Marcus Aurelius. Now, he came up with the whole ideology of Stoicism, and ultimately, it just boils down to never really complaining. As a man, I've implemented Stoicism into my life. It's been very, very impactful. Especially when you realize that there's really no space for our emotions as men. And I'm not here to throw a pity party or cry and shit like that. Bro, if you don't think that what I'm saying is a reality, then you need a very, very fucking big reality check. It's just that. It's just like that. There's not much I can say about it. It's just basically the art of never complaining and the art of being grateful, focusing on the positives rather more than the negatives. And one of the things I've implemented about Stoicism is learning how to appreciate the things that I have, like my bed, the food that I'm able to make every day. I've recently started learning how to cook, and it's a very luxurious lifestyle, not in terms of like super luxury, but like just in terms of the basics. The basics are actually very luxurious for most of us. Most people don't actually realize that. And one of the things that I do to implement Stoicism and let it build is once, let's say once a week or once a month or once every 2 weeks, depending on how I feel, I'll sleep on the floor, maybe, sleep on the floor with the blankets for like 2 days. And then on the third day, I'll sleep on the bed just to appreciate how lucky I am to have a bed. And then for maybe 2-3 days, I'll eat nothing but potatoes and water and fucking spinach, cucumber, and avocado smoothies. Just for me to appreciate the value of food. And it's basically all about appreciating things. And as a society and anyone who's able to listen to this today, you have to realize how incredibly fortunate you are to be able to have a device and the access and the network to actually listen to this podcast today. So we're all very truly blessed. And as I said, you can never compare to anyone else because we're all built for different purposes. But every single one of us has blessings that are beyond most people's reach. So I never take the day to never count my blessings, and you should too. Another thing that Andrew Tate said, basically about being a man, and the minute you say that phrase, being a man or be a man, a lot of people automatically jump straight to toxic masculinity and all that shit, which is a real thing, but it's just the reality we live in. So for me, personally, as an individual, so all of my parental figures and authoritative figures have been females since the day I was born. I was raised by my grandmother, and then I went to live with my mother, and my principal from high school onwards has been a female, and I went to 2 different high schools, and both of them were females. And basically now, even at varsity, the lectures I attend, all of my lecturers are females. So I'm bombarded by female authoritative figures. And one thing that Andrew Tate touches on is that a woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. And it's just the unfortunate reality that most of us face today, that we are mostly raised by our mothers because they are the more caring ones. But Andrew Tate also touched on the subject that really, to be honest, society and the Western world today has it all wrong about the father's role in the child's life. The father doesn't have to be there every single day to make an impact on his child's life, but he has to be there once in a while. And he says even from stemming back in the day, like those world wars and shit, dad was at war, but when dad did come back, shit was crazy, It was like, oh shit, dad's home, you know what I mean? And that just it impacts the child in a different way. And I can understand what he's saying. It impacts the child in a completely different way because he looks up to his dad and he respects his dad. And whereas if a dad's there every single day, doing his half of the household, which I don't think is a bad, way to live, it sort of loses its touch to truly inspire the child. And he made an example of like some families when dad comes home and the child's playing video games and dad walks in and the child's like, oh, does he, or whatever, and he carries on playing like he doesn't even care. Like the impact that a boy should have regarding his father should be excitement and just a whole lot of respect. And I can understand that, I can see that, I can get that. And you have to understand that most of my analogies of male figures and how males should be raised and how males should react all stems from what I've seen on social media, basically what I've searched, what idols I look up to, what people I've seen, and how I can relate, because I've had very few male authoritative figures in my life. And women, I always say this to people, women are very, very powerful, because if you think about it, if there was no men in this world, right, women would be fine, bro. They'll carry on like nothing ever happened. But if there was no women in this world, yo, boy, there would be no point of us living, bro. Like, I don't lie, dude. What the fuck am I doing? So, women, not that they're useful to us, which makes them powerful. Not that at all. There's more things to it. I've been raised by nothing but women, and I see myself as a very powerful figure, and I think it all stems from that. I also think it's funny when people say males have the hugest egos. Like, bro, have you ever come across a woman's ego? And ego is not a bad thing. It's not necessarily always a bad thing, But a woman's ego is crazy, bro. Women do not like to lose, and I don't like to lose, so it's the perfect mentality for me to have. Who the fuck wants to lose, bro? Like, it's not an ego thing. It's just a fucking life thing. No one wants to fucking lose in this game of life. It's that fucking simple, bruv. It's not toxic. We just don't like to lose, but